Hey everyone,
Hi,
how are
everyone.
you? It's the Love Shows. So nice to be back with
Kelly
you.
there. Arthur
And
here.
just in case you were confused, we are so glad to be with you. And thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast, Becoming the CEO of Your Own Health. Oh my gosh. It's a time in the world today that, don't you think, Arthur, actually health is not only talked about all over the place, but all of a sudden the importance of us realizing we better all be taking care of
Yeah, I
ourselves.
mean, this is like, first and foremost on so many people's minds right now. With the pandemic going on in the world, obviously so many people are thinking about the big viral elephant that's around, right? And so many people are so concerned about the escalating numbers of people who are sick and people are dying. And obviously this is a horrific thing that's going on. Um, but there's like another epidemic that's coming right along with it, right, Kelly?
Oh my gosh, you guys. So today we really want to talk to you about anxiety. And are you feeling anxious? Are people in your family feeling anxious? Because this is actually this underlying, not talked about epidemic that people are really seeing in the world today. And whether it stemmed from the beginning of COVID-19 and then the cascade event of being sheltered at home, people losing their jobs, having businesses closed, like our business is closed, having kids not seeing their friends. And then I ask, was there something underlying already? And what else have we now gone through over the past many months?
Yeah, and I think so many people, the adults in the family may be feeling so many of these stressors, but it was really eye-opening to us, Kelly, how much this was really affecting our kids. And as much as we had the fears of businesses being closed, losing jobs, not having the regular income, how we're going to pay bills, all of those things. We thought, well, how is this so different for our kids? They still have their phones, they're still texting, they're still chatting with people. But we really had our eyes open with our teenage kids about how much they truly needed that social connection. On one hand, I'm laughing that, well, you can have six of the girls in the room together and all these 15-year-old girls are just texting back and forth anyway. We don't hear a word of conversation going on. They never call each other. But still that texting and that community that they have was really, really important. And for our son too.
Yes. And if you guys don't know, our kids today are almost 16, 18, 18, almost 19,
Almost
19, crazy
1919.
enough, rolling into January. And then our eldest is 22. And, I think what happened is it's not only the children, but us as well, is we do spend so much time, whether it's on the computer or on our phones, in our apps, communicating in different ways in the world today. But actually, they, just like us as adults, crave human connection.
Yeah.
And we as parents may not see that as much because we think they're just on their phones, but they love being together and they love the energy each other brings, and they love the giggling, the vibe, the, horsing around, the
And it's so funny, Kelly, too, because in our day of the internet, right, and the easy access to information, it's so easy to get sucked into the quagmire of the news and the headlines and what's going on and all the negativity that,
Mhm.
that is out there. And whether it's been this horrible pandemic of COVID-19, whether it was whatever your political view is and the election, whether it's the crisis that existed within the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and how horrible that has the events that have led to that being at the forefront of news. All of these events can really preoccupy you, and it's so easy to get sucked into just listening to it 24/7. And whether you're listening to the news or you're reading headlines on the internet, stop. Just stop. Time out, right? It's like, wow. What was that? What was that we were just reading, Kelly?
Gosh, you guys, this is a quote from John Maxwell. And actually, this is something he said today in an online summit. He said, I cannot control what happens to me, but I am in control of what happens within me. Thank you, John Maxwell.
Yeah, and how apropos, right? I mean, again, we can't control the things that are going on around the world. I mean, yes, we're going to actually talk about the things that you can control within you, but I can't control what's going on around me. I can't control numbers going up in our county. I can't control that we're now purple instead of pink or whatever we were before. I can't
We
control.
were polka dotted. No.
Yeah, I can't control, what's being said in the news or political spheres or how the vote went. So what can I control?
It's how we react to those things,
It's how
right?
we react to them. And if we don't control how we react to them, we are setting ourselves up, and society is setting themselves up for some major mental health issues, and that can lead to some real huge physical health issues because we cannot separate
Mm-mm.
mental health and brain health from body health, right?
And, Arthur and I are going to give you some things that we've done in our family to help, and then some other tips that you might find that works for you, or
Yeah.
maybe you've done, or you just were like, yeah, I love that idea. But what I also want you guys to understand, this really kind of hit me hard just the other day. My mom called. My mom lives in Arizona, and she said, oh my gosh, are you shutting your clinic down again? Are you like, our school's closing down? She was like crazy on me. And I thought, what? But what it tells me is the news wants us to have this vibe, right? The news wants us to be in a little bit of they're in control, not we're in control. Whether that's creating a little bit of panic, whether that's creating a little bit of,
Hey, they're in the business of sensationalizing information, right? It's not just
yes,
reporting, but it's truly in today's world sensationalizing information. And I'm not trying to say that's right or wrong or good or bad. Again, it's how we react to it.
yes. And I just want to give you a bigger example of that is several years ago, Arthur and I had the pleasure and the privilege of teaching overseas, and we were teaching in Israel. And people were like, I can't believe you guys are going there right now. And what we saw and heard on the news, we would think to ourselves, should we be going there right
Yeah.
now? Oh my gosh. When we were there, and of course, we talked to our friends that were there before we even traveled, it was like, what are you talking about? That's not going on. Things are fine. So it paints a different picture. And so the thing is if all you're listening to is the news, the same station, the same person, that is a dialogue that continues to go on and on and on in our minds until it actually creates this new sense of reality in us that really might not even exist at all.
Right.
So be careful who and what you're listening to. So what can you guys do about it? Like, what were some things, Arthur, that like we, even as a family, started to institute? Because it honestly was shocking to see it pop up in myself a little bit, somebody who's never really had anxiety ever in my life, and popped up with our kids.
Well, and honestly, Kelly, it was interesting in our journey over the past, year and a half now, because even 2.5 years, we've had a lot of things going on in our family, between taking care of my elderly parents and moving them into our home, my mom passing away, that rolling right into this crazy COVID situation. There were a lot of things going on that were leading to stressors in our lives that we had to learn how to cope and manage, and I needed help with too. And so interestingly enough, we started doing some of this work before
so true.
This world pandemic began. And I think we were very fortunate that we were in that position because we started, learning about meditation, learning how to calm ourselves, control our reactions to events, trying to create more positivity in our lives. And things we've learned about things like journaling, different types of breath work, right? What else, Kelly?
Well, you guys, I will say, and Arthur really hit it on the head, is if we can start having some practices in our lives before we get escalated, great. But wherever you are today is okay, meaning it just is where you are today. So it's perfect where you are today. So you need to ask yourself, what small things can I start implementing? And that's really what we did.
Yeah.
Is it's easy to start something and stop something, right? Like who started and stopped New Year's resolutions and going to the gym and wanting to have these great plans and eat better. But what we've learned along the journey is being able to take a small thing and stack it. And there's been some, authors that we've listened to, whether it's
BJ Fogg.
BJ Fogg is a neuroscientist out of Stanford, right?
Yeah.
James Clear, Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, all talking about just take something for like 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. If you can build that in your day on top of something you already do, that really, I mean, I will tell you, if it wasn't part of stacking habits, probably Arthur and I would not be doing this. Meaning, right. In the mornings when we started this meditation practice, first, we were like, what the heck is meditation? We took a course and we learned.
Yeah.
What even are we supposed to do? Or is it supposed to mean your mind has no thoughts? No. It teaches you how to just be more present in the moment and how to just clear the chatter so that you can enjoy things at a deeper, better level. And it can go way on and on for there. And we are on a journey right now ourselves to really become our best self. But the only way we get it done is if we stack it on top of something else we do every day, i.e. in the morning, we get up, whatever your routine is, right? Go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and immediately go meditate. Or maybe for you, you immediately want to journal, or immediately want to do 5 minutes of yoga, or immediately a little bit of breath work. But like what you can do to set yourself up for a successful day. Because I think if you wake up,
intention for that day, right?
And your intention, because if you wake up an alarm or an alert, like, oh my God, I got to go out, the kids, blah, 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 like you're already in this anxious craziness that you're not in control. You feel like you're behind the 8 ball and catching up in your day versus planning your day.
So I said the other big thing, Kelly, is create positivity in life.
Oh, huge.
Right? So, there's so much negativity around us. It's like, get rid of the crap. Cut it out, right? I mean, honestly, there have been certain people who've had big roles in our lives that we've literally had to disassociate from because they brought negativity into our lives and we just didn't need it. So whether it's listening to things that create positivity, like podcasts and useful information, like we're bringing to you now, or whether it's
Are you smiling?
Things.
Are you joyful? I hope so.
And I will tell you, sometimes it's like Kelly finds great positivity in reading something where it's like a learning experience for her.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I will find pleasure sometimes and positivity in reading something that's completely asinine and inane and doesn't teach me a darn thing, but it's an escape. Right? And it can just give me that time to clear and not think about anything else. And that could be really positive. Connections with people. Okay, this is tough right now, right? So many of us feel like we're losing connections because we can't always have the interpersonal, face-to-face, belly-to-belly, knee-to-knee time with those people we want to be around and love. But why does it have to be that? Why can't we substitute it with something else? Why can't we go back to picking up a phone and chatting with someone, or FaceTiming or Zooming, even when you can't be together?
And I understand,
Is that the same?
A big warm hug and a big rush of oxytocin, right? Awesome. But we have to think about the next best thing.
Right.
Or how can you create some of that more in your household and reaching out to people? So connections are absolutely huge. And in your connections, like Arthur said, look at who's bringing value to you, lifting you up, being positive. And, because even though you've been your best friends for life or in your family, that doesn't mean that like they own a part of your life or own you. And if you need to shave off so you have less time with them, maybe you do because you're trying to move forward in your journey and maybe they're holding you back. And maybe you don't even know they're holding you back, to be honest. I mean, but you have to really look at, why am I feeling this way? And if I am having anxiousness, what are those things that I can do? And kind of like check off the list as you go down the line. Some other things that, I have found is exercise is my jam. But I realize that there's also a balance. I don't need to over exercise or be stressed if I can't get my exercise. But at the same time, having that regular flow, whether you're riding your bike, out walking, out doing yoga, stretching, running, your HIIT training, but give yourself, because the body craves movement. You're creating all sorts of hormones in this chemical cascade of great endorphins in your body that is really powerful. Can get you out of some, funky slump or whatever that is.
Absolutely. And hey, we've just entered a new season of the year, right? Clocks just changed. It's getting dark earlier. Our days are getting shorter. And all of a sudden, like, all you want to do is curl up on the sofa in front of the fireplace, right? And then you don't want to get up as much and move around as much. When it is sunny, get outside, right? Get some vitamin D on your skin, expose your skin.
Sunshine.
And even let that sunlight get to your eyeballs, okay? Get the lenses off, get the sunglasses off, let your eyes soak in that light. Like 20 minutes a day of unfiltered sunlight coming into your body is so vitally important for our health, physically, mentally. It's huge.
I will say, you guys, I went to graduate school in Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota. My first winter there was so gray, so awful and ugly. And if you don't know, before Minnesota, I came from Arizona, the biggest sunshine state probably in the 50 states, right? So talk about sun. I had no idea it would affect me when I had gray. So if you live somewhere, okay, or Arthur went to school in England, he had
it's not called sunny old England, you know.
He definitely had some gray days, if you know what I mean. But today, you know, whether you have a little like red light unit, or you need to do something if you don't. But if you have access to sunshine, use the sunshine. It's medicine. Yep. It's amazing.
And speaking of medicine, let food be thy medicine, right? Oh. And that doesn't mean sit in the corner and gorge yourself. Okay. I know eating can make you feel better.
In this COVID time, I have eaten a little more than I normally would. However, it's not like, oh, when COVID is over, I'll get back to eating right. You guys, if it's not COVID, it's going to be something else. And when you eat bad, you don't feel good. And when you don't feel good, it leads to maybe more mental health not feeling good.
Well, and not just that too, but if you're not eating good, your body's not functioning well. If your body's not functioning well, it can't be as healthy.
No.
You know, your immunity, your resistance is not going to be as strong. And I mean, we want to be as healthy as we can right now, right? Especially right now. So make sure we're eating well. We've had conversations about this before. I'm sure we'll have conversations about this with you again in the future. This isn't the time or place, but really think about, you know, your body's going to perform based on what you put in.
Yes.
You know, you put in crap, your performance is going to be crap.
And along with that, Arthur, is sleep. I think for the most part,
food, sleep, hand in hand.
Arthur and I have kept a similar sleep schedule, but I do know early on in this process, when we were kind of in the initial shutdown modes, our kids were staying up later and later and sleeping in more and more and more. And when you're off your normal rhythm, you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to do something. It really changes things. So I would tell you guys, if you've been off work, out of work, your routine is off, you need to find a reason to do something, get up, start journaling. Maybe there's something you've never done before. Maybe you want to learn to garden. Maybe you want to learn to play the guitar. Maybe you want to learn to do better cooking. I mean, I don't know what that is, right? Or maybe you're like, you know what? I've always wanted to create this thing. It's the time.
Yeah.
Do it. Go for it. Use it. So it's just so prevalent, and it's prevalent in our children. It's prevalent more with each and every one of us, whether we had or never had it in our lives. There's this underlying anxiety, anxious current in the world. So you take control. You become the CEO of your health. You are the ones that can make the difference. And again, I'm going to reiterate John Maxwell's quote, you guys. And it's so important. And whether it's in our world today or moving on in the future, is he says, I cannot control what happens to me, but I am in control of what happens within me. So find that of you. Take ownership. And it's not like, oh, well, of course I'm anxious. The world is anxious, so I'm anxious. Well, of course, because of COVID, of course, because of the elections, of course, how can I not be anxious? No. Don't give that privilege to anything else other than you take ownership for you. So,
right, guys.
Wow, you guys, it's a serious topic. I know Arthur and I always like to have fun with you guys and teach you something or learn, or just say, you know what, me too. My family too is going through some things, and you can get through this. But if you are really suffering, then what we really would encourage you to do is please seek help. Really seek help. There's many things that you can do to start for yourself. But if you're feeling like you've been trying or you need more, please go seek help.
And if
So
you don't know where to seek help, reach out to us. We'll try to help you.
please, we'll give you some
Yeah.
guidance along the way. Yep, for you, your family, your kiddos, whatever that may be. So, hey, thank you again so much for joining us. Pass this along, share our podcast. It means the world to us. If you can go to either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you are listening and watching, please give us a 5-star rating. That helps us get the word out to many, many more people that could benefit and use this information.
And how else can they reach us, Kelly?
Oh, well, hey guys, you can jump on over to our YouTube channel with the Luptias. So find us on the Luptias, super fun. Appreciate the follow. And you can also follow us at theluptias.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, Arthur Luptia, Kelly Luptia, or the Luptias on Instagram. And we'd be really happy to chat further, answer questions, or just really get to know each and every one of you guys. We appreciate our listeners so much. Bye.
Bye.